The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Today we're speaking about a Stevie Wonder month. What do I mean about that? But before we're going to tie that in with birthdays. Stevie Wonder month and birthdays. What do I mean by that? Why should a person celebrate a birthday? Or should a person celebrate a birthday? Well, let's think about it. A person lost an additional year from his lifespan. So what's he celebrating? Why celebrate a birthday? Right? A person has a lot of amount of time in this world, and when the birthday, that year is gone, or is it gone forever? So why are we celebrating? And how does that tie in with Marcheshvan? So let's take a look. A person that, and is it better to be born or not? Is it better to be born or not to be born? We'll try to tie in all of these subjects together. Okay? So why celebrate a birthday? If you lost an additional year of your lifespan, Mark, what are you celebrating? But a person who filled that year with mitzvot and maisim tovim, so why is he celebrating? Because in exchange for that 1 year of temporary chaye shah, how do you say chaye shah in English? Temporary life, he's exchanging that for chaye olam haba, the chaye olam. So a person that fills his year and his days with mitzvahs and maisim tovim should celebrate his birthday, because in exchange for one temporary year of temporary life, he's gaining in exchange what? Eternal life. It's an investment in olam haba. But actually, and how does this tie into Marcheshvan? If you look at side number 2, the Talmud actually debates whether it's not only should you celebrate a birthday, but perhaps we shouldn't celebrate being born at all. On source number 2, side number 2, slicha. Side number 2, source number 10. Toner Rabbanan. The rabbis such shtei shonim mechza, 2.5 years. Have it in English. It's Tractate Eruvin, page 13, source number 10. Should I read the English or the Hebrew? English, right? Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel argued for years on whether it would have been easier for a person to have been born or not. Why is that? At the end of that argument, they counted and decided. What do they count? What do they count? They counted positive and negative, Nikim. It's a good thing you came today. You see that? We missed you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. They counted, David. What do they count? There's only 248 positive mitzvahs, but there's 365 negative mitzvahs. So it's much easier to stumble than to do right. So the rabbis counted 365 don'ts, corresponding to the days of the year, and only 248 do's, corresponding to the limbs of the body, for a total of 613. So therefore, it's much easier to sin than to what? Win. So therefore, Noach lo la'adam. What does the word Noach mean? Easier. It doesn't mean better. It says it would have been easier for a human being not to have been born, right? Because it's so much easier to sin than to win, right? Now, it doesn't say Tov. You see, Elisheva, it says Noach in source number 10. The word Noach means to be easy and comfy. It doesn't say that. It's good that we're born, but it's easier not to have been born. And who says life has to be easy? Mark. Life is not a bowl of cherries. What? Life is not meant to be easy at all. It's a verse in Job. Human being was born for toil and trouble. Wow. Human being was born for toil and trouble. The question is why?
Where is that said, Rabbi?
Job. Adam lo umal yulad. Adam, the human, was born for toil and trouble. Who said trouble, boil and trouble?
We
Big Beth, I think. They got that from Job. They got it, you know. Yeah, right. Shakespeare must have read Job, right, Mark?
The one who said it was a witch.
Oh, the witch, yeah. Can you pass these down? Thank you. So the question is why? Because only when the going gets tough do the tough go shopping. No, only when the going gets tough do the tough what? Get going. God knows how to squeeze or push our buttons. So all of the troubles that we have in life is tailor-made for us. God knows which buttons to push to get us going.
For refinement.
Refinement. My Rabbi, he said something. What is it all about? He says, whenever you live in a place, you got to pay schar dira. Daniel, can you live in a place without paying rent? The living in the neshama comes down, and the neshama doesn't belong here. We belong in Olam Haba. We come down here, temporary, to rectify. So we're renting our spacesuits. What's our spacesuit? The body. Schar dira. So what's the rent the neshama pays? Suffering. Suffering is a schar dira the neshama pays for what? Renting out the bodysuit. Right? Why suffering? Why is that the currency, right? Why is that the currency? Why not the US dollar or the shekel? Why is suffering the currency? So the Ramchal tells us the stairway to heaven. Now, who wrote that song? Well, actually, they got that from us as well. The Vilna Gaon tells us, Beinish, that we come down here for Matai. Mem Taf Yud. Matai is an acronym. Mem Taf Yud, like FBI, NYPD. Matai, we come down to do mitzvot. That's the Mem. Taf, we come down to what? Study Torah. And the Yud is Yisurim. That's the stairway to heaven. Why? Why? Yisurim means suffering. Now why? Yes, why? Why? What's growing pains all about? Growing pains? You ever heard that expression?
Yes.
If it's true in the physical world that no pain, Barry, no gain, how much is it more true than what? In the spiritual world. It's the shortest Mishnah in Shas. Lefum Tzara Agra. No pain, no gain. Okay? Why it's like that? It's like, this is not a joke. Sir Isaac Newton, you know how he discovered the theory of gravity? This is not a joke. He was sitting underneath an apple tree, and the apple hit him on the head. Boink.
Boink.
And he said, he asked the klutz kasha, how come the apple billa falls down and not up? It's a klutz kasha, no, Daniel. The apple could have fallen up, but it fell down, right? So he discovered this theory of gravity, right? Gravity, right? So according to Kabbalah, it's the koach hamoshech. We have to fight those forces that are trying to bring us down. The Eitzar is trying to bring us down, and we have to fight to what? To extricate ourselves, pick ourselves up, despite the koach hamoshech that's pulling us down. So anyway, suffering is the schar dira, the rent that we pay for living in this world, right? So therefore, a person celebrates a birthday because 1 year of life that went by, in exchange for that, he accomplished so many mitzvot. So that's an investment. He gave up 1 year of chaya shah, how do you say that in English? Temporary life, but he gained an eternity, chaya olam. Right?
They counted and decided what was the conclusion.
The conclusion was that it would have been easier for a person not to have been created. Right? You see source number 10? It doesn't say better. It says Noach. Noach is easier. But life is not meant to be easy. Life is not meant to be easy. Let's think about this Gemara in Eruvin that we're quoting in source number 10. How could the Talmud even debate such a question? Better to be created or not? We just read Pashas Bereshis, Genesis 1, verse 31. God saw all that He created, and it was what?
Good.
Not good. Tov Ma'od. Hello, rabbis, take a pill and lie down. What are you debating, Barry, whether it's good to be created or not? Genesis 1:31 says, when God finished creation, the crown of creation, the Chava is what? You and me and you.
Woman, actually. She's like
Tov Ma'od. So how could the rabbis what? Even debate the question? You get a question? So to answer this question, buddy, we will what? Another question. We're just coming out of Sukkot, not that long ago. All right?
Yeah.
We read Koheles. Hevel havolim, hakol hevel. Koheles says it's all nonsense, it's all vanity. All of creation is what? Empty and meaningless. So Ramban says, hey, Koheles, take a pill and lie down. Didn't you read Genesis 1:31, where God said, he surveyed creation, and he said it's what?
very good.
Very good. So how could Koheles say it, Moshe, it's segunished? So that's the Ramban's kasha on Koheles. So Ramban answers, God's creation is Tov Ma'od. But what did we do to it?
We messed it up.
We messed it up. We made it Hevel Avolim. No contradiction. God made a beautiful Tov Ma'od. Koheles says, we turned it into what? Hevel Avolim.
What's with us?
What's with us, right?
Yeah.
But he wanted to leave it unfinished for us.
He left the world undone to give us a chance to complete it.
Right. So
But again, getting back how the rabbis can even don't even think about it, that it would have been better man not to have created, better not. Koheles chapter 4.
But who would do mitzvah, Rabbi?
1 minute. Didn't the rabbis read Koheles chapter 4?
Are you at page 1? Are you which page side are you?
No, we're not up to the page yet. We're still stuck on source number 10. We are on side number 2, and we're stuck on source number 10. Okay? So this is not on your pages, but Koheles chapter 4 says, "V'shabeach hametim min hachayim." Koheles says, I praise the dead more than the living. V'tov mishnehem, and better than the living and the dead is a person that never was born in the first place. So rabbis, didn't you learn Koheles chapter 4? Again, Shebeach, you don't have it on your sheets, but Koheles chapter 4. V'shebeach hametim, I praise the dead more than the living, because their suffering is over. V'tov mishnehem, and better than the dead and the living, Ashadenu lahoya, is a guy that never was what? Born. Ashaloi roha ma'aseh, he didn't experience all the evil tachas hashemesh.
So where's potential then?
What?
They're never born.
So that's the question we're dealing with, Chanoch. Don't steal my thunder.
Excuse me.
That's the question on the table. So actually, this question is asked by Tosfot in Avodah Zarah, page 5. You don't have the Tosfot. If that's for me, I'm out to lunch. Actually, Tosfos in Avodah Zarah, page 5, is asking all of these questions. And he answers as follows. When Shlomo Melech is speaking about better a person not to have been born than to have been born, and the rabbis debate better not to have been born, that's speaking about a rasha. That's speaking about a lowlife. But people like us
We're off the hook.
that come to Torah Shurim, Tosfot in Avodah Zarah says, forget about it. Ashra v'ashrei hador shehu betocho. King Solomon, Koheles, and the Gemara in Eruvin are only speaking about wicked, low-life people, which Nebuch is the majority of the world, except for us, right? But the Jewish people, Amech kulam tzadikim, says Tosfos. Isaiah chapter 60, God says, Amech kulam tzadikim. Regular people, not Jewish people, the majority of them, but for them it would have been better not to have been born. But for righteous people, Tosfos says, Ashra v'ashrei hador shu batocho, fortunate is he and fortunate is what? His generation. So Koheles and the Gemara and Eruvin are speaking about Rishayim. But Tzadikim, of course, Chanoch, it's much better to have been what? Born. Because we're fixing ourselves and we're fixing the world. Source number 12, why is the only birthday in the Bible Pharaoh, a non-Jew. Source number 12. The only birthday celebrated in the Torah is Dafka, a non-Jew. Why is that? So if you look at source number 5, take out your magnifying glass. Why is the only birthday in the Bible celebrated by a non-Jew? Why is that? So if you look at source number 5, the Munkatcher Rebbe used this idea in a speech he delivered in honor of the birthday of the president of Czechoslovakia in 1936. He pointed out that it is not customary for Jews to what? To celebrate birthdays due to the principle it would have been better not to have been born. However, since non-Jews only have what? 7 mitzvot, and they are more likely to succeed, so therefore for them you should celebrate their birthday, and therefore the only birthday mentioned in the Chumash is that Pharaoh, because they have keep the 7 go to heaven. We have to keep the what? The 613. Vatischak liyoim achron. It's an upside down world. You look in Mishlei, we say it every Friday night, Vatischak liyom achron. She laughs on her last day. So the Talmud comments on this verse in Mishlei, it's an upside down world. When a baby is born, the baby is crying, and the relatives are what? Laughing.
Happy.
But when a tzaddik dies, the relatives are crying, and the tzaddik is laughing. Vatischak liyoim achron. It's Mishlei 31. We sing it every Friday night. Why, Chanoch? Because Shabbos is me'en olam haba. Shabbos is a taste of the afterlife. And in the afterlife, the godly soul, which is feminine, is what? Laughing and rejoicing. But otherwise, why read that Friday night? Vatischak liyoim achron. She, the neshama, rejoices after she passes away, because she's reunited and it feels so good. Reunited with her source.
And Shabbat is not.
And Shabbat is men olam haba. Shabbos is a taste of life after death. So it's appropriate to read Mishlei 31 Friday night, which speaks about the neshama rejoicing in olam haba. So when the baby comes down, she's crying, the neshama. But when the baby returns after 120, there the neshama is what? Is rejoicing. So how does this tie in with the month of Cheshvan? Now, Manishtana, the month of Cheshvan is the only month, Rabbi Yosef, on the Jewish calendar that has no holidays. Tisha B'Av will be a holiday, Moshe. Zechariah 8 says that Tisha B'Av will be what? Happy days are here again. And Shivos B'Tammuz and Asara B'Tevis and Tanis Esther. Zechariah tells us all of those fast days will be what?
Feast day.
Feast day, celebration. So, Manishtana, the month of Cheshvan, it's the only month that doesn't have a holiday or a potential holiday. What am I, chopped liver? After a heavy month of holidays of Tishrei, chock full of holidays, we come, I think it's called cold turkey, cold turkey. And therefore the month is called Marcheshvan. Mar means bitter. But the tafkid of Mar, spell Mar backwards, is Rum. Rum means what?
Good.
Lift it up. Move it on up. We're supposed to take the Mar and make rum out of it. Not the type you drink. We're supposed to take the bitter and elevate it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Rum. Now, Marcheshvan. Dafker, all of the hustle and bustle of the month, which is chock full of holidays, comes a what? A month of ritual silence. That's not a coinky dinky, Mark. Now it gives me a chance to sing my Stevie Wonder song. No holidays, no month of May, it's just an ordinary month. But what it is, you take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. I'm ad-libbing a little bit.
Good, Rabbi.
The month of Chesh, I hope Stevie won't mind.
You need context.
What? The tafkid
They'll never
of...
see you singing, Rabbi.
They'll never see me singing. The tafkid of Cheshvan. is to take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. What I think is ordinary is extraordinary.
There you go.
Make every day
Count.
special. Because today is the first day, Daniel, of the rest of your life.
Gratitude makes it special.
All right?
Miyuchad.
I just called to say,
I love you.
because no, it's an ordinary month, an ordinary day. But there ain't no such thing, Mark, as an ordinary day or ordinary month. The tafkid of Cheshvan is to focus on what I think is ordinary and plain is really extra special. Focus on that. Make every day extraordinary. Because there is nothing ordinary. Every day, every moment of life is a gift.
Miyuchad.
In fact, it's the last verse in Tehillim.
Yeah.
Kol anshama hallelujah, hallelujah. That's the last verse in Tehillim. And we know Achron Chaviv, David. What does that mean? Avini's table comes at the end of the meal. Saving the best for last. So King David saved the best verse in Tehillim for last. What does it mean? Kol anshama hallelujah, hallelujah. You sitting down, Mark? Gemara Bracha says, Al kol neshima v'neshima hallelujah. God is our personal breathing machine. Should I repeat that? Every breath you take, King David says, Kosh Baruch Hu Kavayochel is my personal breathing machine. So every moment is extraordinary. Not just every day, but every moment of life is extraordinary. Kavayochel, God is our personal breathing machine. Shouldn't that make me happy?
Yeah.
So I don't need any extra holidays on Cheshvan. Just focus on what? On the fact that God is my breathing machine. And the month of Cheshvan is an acronym. Chet, Shin, Vav, Nun. Acronym means FBI or CIA. The Chet stands for Chashuva. The Shin stands for Simcha. The Vav stands for Tamid. And the Nun stands for Nismacha. Chashuva Simcha. The most important mitzvah of all is Simcha. V'tamid Nismacha. And a person should always be what? In a joyful mood.
Keep a good attitude, trust Hashem,
Huh?
rest. Keep a good attitude.
Cheshvan doesn't need any special mitzvot. How many days a year do we blow the shofar? 2 days a year, right? How many days a year we sit in the sukkah or shake a lulav? 7. Why not more? Because we don't need the sukkah more than 7 days. Must speak. Moshe, you don't need to shake the lulav more than 7 days. Must speak 7 days. Shofar blowing, you only need 2 days. It's enough. But simcha, you need every day. Therefore, Ivdos Hashem b'simcha, Psalm 100. Every single day in the Shachrit, when you open your eyes, what do you say? Psalm 100, which says what?
Make it
Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha.
That's right.
So the most important mitzvah of all is simcha. How do I know? Because we have a klal in the Talmud. Todir she'ena todir koidim. A mitzvah which is more frequent has kadima. Rosh Hashanah, Sukkah, Lulav, Yom Kippur, that's only once, twice, 7 days a year. How frequent is that? But Ivdus Hashem b'simcha, says King David in Psalm 100. Ivdus Hashem b'simcha is what? Every single day. Da la la la. Da la. What a beautiful song. Wasn't for Stevie Wonder, wouldn't have a shir today. Thank you, Stevie. Ivdus Hashem b'simcha, says King David in Psalm 100. That's the Todir mitzvah. That's the most important mitzvah of all. How do I know? Because it's not 2 days a year or 7 days a year, like Sukkah and Shofar and Lulav. It's every single day. And Shachrit, we begin our Shachrit prayer with Psalm 100. Mizmor LeTodah, Ivdus Hashem b'simcha. And that's the most important mitzvah of all.
So why don't we say Hallel every day?
Why don't we say Hallel every day? Why don't you say Hallel every day?
It's special. It's
Why don't we say Hallel
Ooh.
every day?
He hit a home run. Rachmiel hit a home run. Rachmiel hit a home run.
What do you say?
You just made my shear, my dear friend. He's not a plant.
Hallel every day.
I didn't notice. Rachmiel just made my shear. I'm not joking. The Gemara in Brachos says someone who says Hallel every day is a blasphemer.
Whoa.
What? Hello? Someone who says Hallel every day is a blasphemer. Barry, what's going on?
I don't understand because some people say the whole book of Tehillim.
Says the great Rav Soloveitchik. What's it all about? Hallel. Bechmiel, you made my whole shear. Thank you. I didn't know he was going to ask me this question.
Still smarter than us.
Hallel. When you say Hallel on Yom Tov Rosh Chodesh, Hallel, you'll commemorate a special, extraordinary super event.
That's right.
Extraordinary supernatural event, a miracle,
Right.
splitting of the Red Sea,
1948.
right, clouds from heaven, right?
That's right.
Special supernatural miracles that Hashem did us.
That's right, he did.
Hallel, Hallel means that if you say Hallel every day, you are putting God, so to speak, in a box. You're saying God is only found in the big ticket items. Splitting of the Red Sea, donuts from heaven, magic clouds, giving you the Torah, speaking the Ten Commandments. You're saying God is only found in the supernatural big ticket items. That's blasphemy. God is found in the ordinary.
Sure is.
In the someone who says Ashrei every day, 3 times a day is Ben Olam Haba. There's a motive that keeps repeating Ashrei. Tov Hashem lakol, v'racham aval kol masa. The word kol is repeated. Don't put God in a box. Don't limit God to the supernatural events. If you're saying Hallel every day, you're saying God is not concerned with the ordinary. He's only in the big picture. I mean the big picture, the Big Dipper, of supernatural events. Why are you putting God in a box? The same God that's in the supernatural event is in the nitty-gritty, in the ordinary. What I think Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha, Tov Hashem lakol, v'racham aval kol ma'asav. Don't limit and put God in a box. Don't limit him to the supernatural. Kodesh Baruch Hu is found in what we think is ordinary. It's really extraordinary. So therefore you have to say Ashrei every day, but not Hallel. Hallel implies supernatural events. That's how Rav Soloveitchik explains the Gemara, why someone who says Hallel every day is a blasphemer. But Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha, that's the month, the ordinary, right? No holidays, no month of May. But you say Ashrei 3 times a day. Da-da-da-da. You're thanking God for everything. Not just for splitting of the Red Sea. Not just for the magic clouds. So Ashrei is more important than Hallel. How do I know, Rachmiel? Because Hallel you only say what? On special occasions. But Ashrei you say every day, 3 times a day. Todir Sheni, Todir Yehuda, Todir Koidim. In Halacha, Bila, something that's more frequent is what? Much more important. So the Ashrei, which symbolizes God is in the ordinary, there is no such thing, but we think is ordinary, that's more important than Hallel. Ashrei 3 times a day, where you're praising God for every breath that you take. For a rose, for a babbling brook, for getting up in the morning, you'll be able to go to the bathroom. That's more important than Hallel. You're not limiting him to the big supernatural, big ticket items. That's an amazing idea. There's another explanation. This month of Cheshvan is the first month of the year that we celebrated Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, did you celebrate? Why not? It's Rosh Hashanah. Did you say Hallel? No. It's Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, and yet we didn't what? Say Hallel. We totally ignored Rosh Chodesh. What am I, chopped liver? Rosh Hashanah is also Rosh Chodesh. Totally ignored it. Don't mention it. Don't say Hallel. So Marcheshvan is the first month of the new year that we what? Say Hallel and say Rosh Chodesh. That's enough to keep me busy, Chava. You like my explanation? Ma Nishtana, Marcheshvan is the first month of the new year that you celebrate Rosh Chodesh. Because Rosh Chodesh Tishrei we ignored. Didn't celebrate it because it got swallowed up with what? With Rosh Hashanah. So why don't you say Hallel on Rosh Hashanah? It's also Rosh Chodesh. So the Talmud says, Sifrei Mesim, Sifrei Chaim Evtochim, Atamamim, Hallel. The book of the living and the book of the dead are open.
You don't say Hallel.
You can't say Hallel. I'm not in the mood. Halacha lives in the real world. I'm not, even though it's Rosh Chodesh and it's Yontiv, I just can't say Hallel because we're on trial for our lives. Right? The Yom Adin. You don't know which way it'll go. So therefore, this month of Cheshvan is the first month of the new year that we're able to celebrate what? That's enough to keep me busy, David. I don't need anything extra. Again, Rosh Chodesh. What are we celebrating on Rosh Chodesh? What are you saying Hallel? Hallel you only say, Reb Shalom, when there's a supernatural miracle. Didn't I just say that? Every Rosh Chodesh you say Hallel. What supernatural miracle is there that you say Hallel in Rosh Chodesh? We just said Rosh Chodesh is only said, Hallel is only said what? On the supernatural miracle. Rosh Chodesh doesn't seem supernatural to me. So why do you say Hallel in Rosh Chodesh?
New month.
So, you're close.
Well, tell us.
The power of renewal. Rosh Chodesh, the Koach HaChidush is a symbol. The Jewish people follow a lunar calendar. The Zohar says our destiny is tied to what? Blue moon.
Chinese.
The moon is swallowed up in blackness. It looks like it's totally swallowed up. But the moon keeps rejuvenating. Rejuvenating? That's us. It looks like we're swallowed up. Total blackness. The Holocaust. The Jewish people destroyed. 3 years after the Holocaust, we rise like a phoenix from the ashes of Auschwitz to build this wonderful state of Israel, start-up nation. It's not normal. It's not possible. 3 years after a third of our people have been destroyed. How do you come? Nobody comes back after 2,000 years. And after a Holocaust, what are you coming back to? Resurrecting a dead language in a dead country? That's the Koyach HaChidush. Rosh Chodesh was saying Hallel, Moshe, on the Koyach HaChidush in Am Yisrael. That's the greatest miracle of all. We are like the moons, shining in black, total blackness. It looks like we're totally eclipsed by blackness and Holocaust. And yet we keep what? Coming back. I'm coming back. The great comeback kid.
Yeah.
Ain't that the greatest miracle of all, Chanoch?
Yes.
That's why we say Hallel. The moon is only a metaphor and a symbol of that. It's the miracle of Jewish renewal, of rejuvenation. Continual after all the Holocaust and persecutions. We keep renewing ourselves. That's the greatest miracle of all, and that's what Rosh Chodesh represents.
That's our expression of gratitude.
Of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, the first mitzvah the Jewish people got as a nation, we were still in Egypt, was what? Rosh Chodesh. Why? Why couldn't God wait to Har Sinai, Yisrael? Why did God have to jump the gun and give us the first mitzvah? Rosh Chodesh was still in Cairo. Didn't get Matan Torah. Because without the power of Chidush, the Jewish people would never leave Egypt. We were a Memtesh Sharei Tumah. Without the Koyach HaChidush of Rosh Chodesh, we would have totally gone. So that had to be the first mitzvah. Because you're not able to renew yourself and rejuvenate yourself, you're gone. Only Israel has that power. Where are the Phoenicians? Where are the Babylonians? Yaakov. Where are the Assyrians and the Greeks?
Where are the Romans?
Where are the Romans and the Egyptians? Where are they?
Gone.
On the 60 feet of sand, Miriam. But we're still here. That's the greatest miracle of all. Therefore you say Hallel when? Rosh Chodesh, that's us. The blue moon is us. We keep renewing ourselves. That's why we're so hated. We should have been gone centuries ago. You're still here. Huh? We're still here. You can't get rid of us like a bad cold.
We are eternal people.
We are the eternal people because we have the koach of the moon, the koach of renewal that no other nation has. And that's Cheshvan. Focus on Rosh Chodesh. You don't need anything else. So there is no ordinary. To appreciate every moment, Daniel, I know you do. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Cherish every day. Appreciate every day. You don't need the supernatural miracle. There's an amazing Ramban. Are you sitting down for this, Rachmiel? The Ramban asks a trick question. Which is a greater miracle? Splitting of the Red Sea, or sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, or the splitting of the Red Sea? What's a greater miracle? You would ask me, I'd say what? Sunrise. Splitting of the Red Sea. Ramban says, wrong. Splitting of the Red Sea only happened once in 6,000 years, never again. But the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun every single day for 6,000 years,
Huge.
isn't that a great miracle? But the problem is we become fachadet. How do you say in Yiddish fachadet? We become desensitized. Human nature is when a spectacular event happens all the time, you take it for granted. Can you imagine, Billa, if the sun would rise and set once in 200 years? Can you imagine CNN and Fox News and Netflix, whatever? The sun is rising, and the last time it did, Moshe, was what? 200 years ago. The sun is setting, the last time it did was 200 years ago. Can you imagine? I'm so excited. So it happens every day. Does it make it less spectacular? Should make it more spectacular. But human nature is you become accustomed to it. So therefore, says the Ramban, sunrise and sunset is a greater miracle. Because it happens every day. But you have to psych yourself up to appreciate it. That's our challenge. There's a pasuk in Psalm 27, a strange pasuk. We said it all month of Tishrei, didn't we? The Dovad Hashem Oiri. So he says something. He says, I want to live in Hashem's house and to be a tourist. So that's what he said. I want to live in Eretz Yisrael, but I also want to be a tourist. King David, make up your mind. He says, I want to live in God's house. What's God's house? Pisgat Zev. I mean, Rechav, yeah? I want to live in God's house, which means Eretz Yisrael. And oh, by the way, I want to be a tourist. Rav Soloveitchik says, King David, make up your mind. Oh, wait. Beautiful. Mickey gave the answer. Remember the first time you saw the Kotel, David? I'm so excited. You saw the Kotel the first time? Weren't you excited? Wow. But after a while, it wears off. King David prays, I want to live in Eretz Yisrael, but I want to feel like what? A tourist. I'm so excited. I don't want the excitement and enthusiasm to wear off. And that's something to daven for, because human nature is it does wear off. But we have to fight that, David. Next time you go to the Kotel, you say, wow, it's the first time. Even though it's the 100th time or 1,000th time. But King David davened. I want to live in Israel, but I want to experience the excitement of what, Lillian? A tourist. That's the month of Marcheshvan. Take the Mar, what you think is Mar, ordinary, and make it Ram. Elevate it, moving on up. That's a challenge that we have to do in the month of what? The month of Marcheshvan. The month is called Marcheshvan, which means bitter Cheshvan, but that's just our challenge, to take the Mar and turn it upside down, which means Rum. It looks like Mar because there ain't no Yontif. So we say, I don't need a Yontif. Every day is Rum. Not the type you drink. What does Rum mean, Rachmiel?
To lift up.
Lift it up. Every day should be elevated. That's our challenge. Take what you think is Mar and turn it around. Memoration, turn around. What is it? Rum, which means to lift it up.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.